Hey.
I can hear you.
Oh, you can't hear me.
I
Hello?
can now.
Oh, now you can. Okay, I was just saying, hey, girl.
Hi, everybody. So it's actually been long, a month long without coming live. It actually feels weird right now. Like I'm actually out of it. So let's start. Let's start with the episode. How did you feel about the episode?
To be honest, I felt like it wasn't really given much, but it was given enough in the in a way. So it wasn't giving like okay, it wasn't over the top, but then there were some bits that I was like, this is so
Yeah.
cringe worthy. Like this is just mad. And I don't want to get into it too early, but I just kept thinking like, wow, is this how y'all do business? Like, but we'll leave that for later. What did you think?
I don't know. Maybe because I've been watching this season, like the show for a long time. So the change from the drama to being all soft, it just like and it's like they are this episode was okay, it was chill, but it's almost like not everybody got the memo about what they are doing this season because some people still want to fight. But
Hmm.
mhm, let's just get into the real episode because that episode not much happened, so we should be able to cover it up quite quickly.
Yeah.
So so it actually started off with the girls were still arguing in the spa. To be honest, I think this scene was a setup because it made no sense. How are you guys
Mm.
in the spa with makeup on? I don't know what kind of spa they went to, but if I'm going to a spa, why would I have such makeup on? Like it was such a setup scene. So I was not shocked that Stormi was doing too much. Kiki and Tiffany were fighting. I mean, I actually watched someone's life last week, and someone actually made a point that I think makes sense.
Mm.
I think I've noticed that the dynamics between the original six has changed. Now it almost seems like the people that newly came in, they are like trying to find their place, so they are fighting to get a place in the show. They agreed in the previous season that they were not going to fight, they were not going to bash each other, and then we now have Tiffany, we have Kiki, we have nah. Just give your opinion before I say what I have
You
to
know
say.
what I want to say? Like what you just said is such an important point. I think that the extras, I don't want to call them extras because it sounds weird, right? But I, okay, so we know the original six and then the extras, right? I feel like the extras are there to create the drama this season. I think it's intentional because people felt like the drama between the six was too heavy because we knew them as a group of friends from the start. So no one wants to really see a group of friends argue in such a nasty way like it has been in the previous seasons. So I think the reason these people, the extras, are there is to bring that drama into the show so that there's a little bit of balance between, because at the end of the day, it is a show. If it's chill, 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 I bet a lot of people are going to drop out. So there needs to be some sort of balance. So I think the extras are there for the drama. But I think the way the extras are bringing in the drama just doesn't make any sense. It just seems manufactured. It's so obvious. Like even a blind person respectfully can see that this is manufactured. It's just very much giving that. So I wasn't here for that at all.
Yeah, and as the comment I just dropped because as you were saying it, I think last season was very toxic
Mm.
and they got a lot of backlash. I think it was from last season that the ratings started dropping, and then everybody were like, "Oh, we're no longer watching this show. It is way too toxic. It's not showing back people in a good light." Blah blah blah. But I think many people have watched reality TV to the extent that they think everything has to be all the jabs has to be all funny that oh in the next episode we're hugging each other. I think Love and Marriage Huntsville was one of the shows that was able to capture the bitterness of how
Mm.
hatred can go. Because last season was, oh my god, it was toxic.
Yeah.
I stopped reviewing, I stopped watching because it became so. both in the show, outside the show. Everything was just way too toxic. That's why I dropped that comment saying the drama between the original six was just, it was way too toxic. It was not healthy for TV. It was not good to see. And I think Carlos went to the drawing board. I was like, oh, I can put Stormi to work. I can put Kiki to work. They obviously want to have a place in the show. So we're going to make themselves look stupid by doing that, because everybody was quiet. They were trying to calm them down. And Tommy made this particular comment. Yeah, I wrote the comment down on my phone because I was like, I don't want to forget this comment. Stormy made this comment when Melody, obviously Melody is producer, and she tried to step in when she obviously knew that the ladies were going out of character. She tried to step in and she was like, oh, let me get it. Yes, she said, "Oh, we need to talk about this, but we need to talk about this like ladies.
Mm-hmm.
This argument is not good." And then Stopper was like, "No, this is actually great. We are talking things out. We are arguing. We are getting things off our chest. It's not a problem." When she made that comment, I was like, hmm?
Yeah. And I was like, also, how do you interrupt someone that is trying to create peace for you to create more division? It just feels like someone has put some batteries into Stormy's back to come for people this season, and that is her sole reason for being there. Because it doesn't make any sense. Like, anyone can see that it's a toxic situation for people to be going back and forth, especially when there's a pregnant woman there. Like, it's not even, all it takes is some common sense. Like, seriously. So I don't understand why it was such a thing where it was almost like, why are you interrupting her to say some nonsense like that? It just didn't make sense to me. And yeah, yeah. Mm-mm.
Was even My problem was even with Tiffany. Like, girl, you're pregnant. As Kimmy said, pregnancy is, you are between life and death. It's not the situation
Mm.
where you are trying to create a moment. It's not the situation where you're trying to be the person that shakes people, person that causes drama. I don't know what she was going for. Maybe I really did not know what she's going for, because maybe because I've been too much into the medical field. I've seen women really going to um labor for just like a little thing. So I just did not understand why she was putting herself in that position to rattle Kiki. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. But I do know that this is who Tiffany is. She would rather not speak about herself. She would rather not have a storyline. She's willing to actually talk about every single person, try to come for every single person, and then act self-righteous. I mean, let's talk about why you cheated on your ex-husband. If we really want to talk about Tiffany,
Mhm.
but she has managed to avoid talking about this situation for so long that I'm actually surprised that nobody has said that. I'm actually
Yeah.
surprised.
It's also interesting what you said, and it just made me remember. I feel like I saw a comment by Carlos King and Tiffany's page saying, "Well done, Tiffany. This is your best season yet," or something like that, which just made me think, it feels like you guys are putting the battery behind these people's or in these people's backs, and you're like, yeah, go for it. You know what I mean? Because why are you applauding that sort of behavior if you don't want that behavior to be repeated? It just did not make sense to me. It was very much given, you want this to be something that is repeated, and this is that's all that is about.
I actually totally agree with you. But let's move on, because that scene was just, I don't know, maybe it seemed manufactured to me because everybody was doing too much. Someone
Mm,
wanted peace, and you guys did not want peace. You guys were arguing. It's not my business. Whatever they want to do, they can do. I mean, I was not the one looking ridiculous on TV.
fair enough, man. I would have chosen peace too in that spa. Like, no one is about to disrupt my peace in a spa. Like, I'm heading out. Yeah.
So let's move on to Martell.
Hmm.
Matty baby.
Yes, I have a lot of
You know,
thoughts on this
I
one.
don't know. maybe I'm too African. I really don't understand why, especially women, they are taking up for Martell. I don't know. I don't know. He's not that fine. He's not. I don't really see what they are seeing in Martell. That
Mm,
every single time he says something, especially looking at the circumstances between he and Melody, why are women always taking up for Martell? I really want to understand exactly how great of a person he is or something that he's doing, because this scene pissed me off. This scene total, I like, nah. He
mm,
came into the scene with Maurice. Obviously, it was a cooked up scene. There were so many cooked up scenes in this episode that it was ridiculous to me. So he comes up and conveniently, as he's talking to Maurice, Sheree calls. I'm like,
mm-hmm.
oh, come on now, come on. You guys are just working over time to bring this relationship into the show, working over time so that we will believe that he's actually in a relationship. That just goes to show you how much you need to show a relationship for people to believe you're in a relationship, because it's very obvious that it is cooked up. It's very obvious because the timing was just, I'm not stupid. You went out with the cast, and all of a sudden, Sheree is calling, and you're like, "Oh my God, that's Sheree!"
Mm-hmm.
Please. And then he started complaining about the previous episode where he tried to walk Melody to her car, and Melody was like, "No, do not walk to my car." Hi, Patricia. I think it was probably even the producers calling at this point, because that scene, the whole "someone is calling me" was just too manufactured.
A
So he
hundred
started
percent.
complaining about the whole Melody stuff, that she didn't allow him walk her to the car. And from last episode to this episode, I'm still confused about the fact that people do not see that he's invading this lady's privacy. How do people keep saying, oh, he wanted her to be safe, he wanted to walk her to the car, and he keeps using, oh, this is the mother of my four kids. If she
Mm,
was that important, she wouldn't be suing her for full custody. I just,
mm, mm, mm. Yeah.
what?
Sis, honestly, when I'm literally looking at you speak, and I'm just like, I feel every single thing you're saying, because the thing is, I feel like a lot of these women who sort of give Mattel a pass are people that are very male identified, right? Like they just feel like he can do no wrong. To them, Mattel is a good-looking man, and he has, you know how they say pretty privilege. I think
Yeah.
he has pretty privilege, even though I don't think he's pretty, but whatever. Right? So he has something called pretty privilege, and it's like he can do no wrong. It's just like he loves his children. Just because you think he loves his children does not excuse him from being a terrible individual, from him acting up on television. For me, how are you? How don't you understand people's boundaries? If someone says to you, "Don't walk me to my car," that is a direct point they've expressed to you. They don't consent for you to walk them to their car. Why are you still trying to walk them? That just shows you don't understand boundaries. You don't respect boundaries. You don't understand the need for consent. You don't care at all. You are just like, that's what I want to do. And so I'm going to do what I want to do. I don't care what your feelings are. I don't care how you feel about it. That also shows that, to me, that is abusive. That's manipulative. It's like you want everyone to look and see, all I tried to do was something nice. No, this woman said no. No means no. And I don't know if you remember in the confessionals, he then tried to say, something that was insinuating that she didn't really mean it. Like she said no, leave her alone. Like, seriously, right? So when I see people say things like, oh, he's so sweet, I'm like, this is the same man that tried to get in her face and people had to hold him back. So what are we talking about? Why are we acting like this man has cared about her safety? He had never cared about her safety. If you cared about her safety, you would have been using condoms. You would not be out here sleeping with someone. I'm just saying, right? So you don't care about her safety. You're going out during COVID, doing whatever you were doing, and then coming back in. So you did not care about safety. So don't act like all of a sudden after you've divorced, ooh, I now care about her being snatched up. Like seriously. So that's how I felt about that. But also the scene in particular, I agree with you. One thing I'm getting from this season is seeming very pretentious. It's seeming very, very manufactured so far. It just seems like everyone is coming together and they're like, ooh, okay, you know, how about we say, oh, Meta Sheree called, and then so that we can bring up Sheree and then we can have a conversation about Sheree. It's like, seriously, you all know Sheree probably didn't call. Like, stop with the mess. Like, cut it out. So that's how I felt about it. Yeah. Yeah.
Go. You said my mind. That's what I actually like the fact that yeah, everybody's not fighting up and down, but at this point it's starting to seem like maybe the fighting is actually who they are, and them not fighting is just making everything look all fake, look all because it's looking very fake to me. It's looking awfully fake to me. And when he was speaking, let me
Mm.
read out everything he said because I actually had to note down this particular part because I was irritated with what he was saying. He said, "Oh, that now he does not know what to do about this Mel situation." Then Maurice was like, "Oh, um, Maurice then complained to Marsau about the situation, and then Marsau was like, "You can date whoever you want to date. You can be with whoever you want to be." I'm like, nobody ever said he could not be with whoever he wanted to be. Like, whoever said that? Nobody. And he was like, "Oh, you can be double-minded, triple-minded." As this person made this comment, I just remember because I remembered writing down that you can be triple-minded because I really wanted to remember it because if you go back to it, what does it mean to be triple minded? Triple minded means who? Coleslaw, Sheree,
Yep.
Melody. Melody is no longer your woman. You should be bothered about coleslaw. You should be bothered about Sheree, whatever fake thing you guys have going on together. For Maurice to have made that comment, I've always known that Maurice doesn't like Melody. I just felt irritated. And this is the same man that has been accused of cheating. But luckily for him, his wife was able to cover. And that's why to date, we've not heard anything about Maurice's cheating. That's just
Mm.
the truth. Then he then said, over the years, people have stripped him of his favor, and then now it's coming back. And I was like, and then Masao was like, just look at his dad. His dad was 27 with 8 kids. I call him a beast. He was not, he had to take care of 8 kids. And I was like, how does that make sense? If your dad was 27 and had 8 kids, that just proves that he was irresponsible.
Period.
And then Mattel then made a comment saying he and Sheree are trying for kids.
I
I'm
know. I'm
like,
looking. Oh.
come on. Seriously, the producer should have just cut off that scene because I've never seen something so fake. I've never
Mm.
seen something so fake in my life than that particular. The entire scene was giving me made up, but that part when he said that word, I tuned out. I totally tuned out because it was fake.
100%. I think I don't really agree with Maurice on a lot of things, but when he said a double-minded man is unstable in all his ways, I'm like, you better preach. Now, I'm not going to give him full credit because that came from the Bible, but still, like my point is, yes, that's exactly what Martell is. One minute you're acting like you want Melody, the next thing when she rejects you, then you start acting angry and abusive, and then it's like, ooh, and then you now dial it back again, and then you want to pretend in front of her to be sweet, and then you want to act like a little kid, telling your friend, oh, ask her this. Like it's nuts. And yeah, definitely this scene was definitely given made up. It just seemed like when Mattel brought up the fact that Sheree, they've been talking about children, I'm like, nah, you guys think we're dumb. You're the same person that has not claimed this woman. You are the same person that when you're asked if she's the one, you cannot answer. Your face gives it away each time. The whole point, I was looking at his face when I think it was Maurice that asked, is she the one? And his facial expressions gave it away. Like he looks like hell now, right? He looks like that. Never gonna be anything, right? And so I'm like, so for you to be acting in our faces like you want to have a kid with this woman when by your own facial expressions, you couldn't hide it, that she ain't the one. And also, the whole relationship is very much given PR because it doesn't even look like you guys are together. Every time you guys are together, it's awkward. It looks manufactured. It looks like it's given storyline, and you guys can't keep it straight. Over on the other side, she's acting like, oh, we're all good and dandy, and then you're not claiming her. So, which is it? How do you want children with someone you're not even claiming? But then again, it wouldn't be the first time, would it? So I guess that's the issue. But yeah.
To be honest, I I think I don't know how I put it that it's not like I did not expect what the guys were saying because I did not expect anything better of them.
Hmm.
But I'm like, at least hold yourself a little bit accountable. I mean, give us something to work with. For once, let us say, oh, these guys were honest. Oh, these guys said truth. You know, they just never can tell the truth, and it's very disappointing every single time that we want these guys to just say the truth about how something looks, how something feels, and they're just not honest about it. Let me go through the comments. Someone said exactly what repeat say. She didn't mean it. I mean, I don't know, that word sort of triggers me when someone says, oh, she didn't mean it, especially that scene. I watched that scene over 3 times, and I'm like, why didn't the producers intervene? Why didn't the people who were shooting that scene intervene or do something? Because she kept saying, oh, I don't want you to walk to my car. I don't want you to walk me to my car. My car is just over here. And no single person saw it saying to intervene and be like, oh, do not walk her to our car. It's it triggered me because this is exactly what happens every single time in the life of women. We keep saying we don't want this to do this, we don't want a man to do this, and then the same man will be like, oh shush, she doesn't know what she's saying. That's it triggered me. And thank you, Alice. Oh yeah, I just talked about it. So now let's just go to the next parts. There was so much cooked up seeing this episode, and it felt fake to me. So let's talk about Marsau speaking with Geno. I don't know about this Geno thing, to be honest. I just think it's weird that you guys are speaking about collaborating, being business owners, and then from nowhere you start speaking about your relationship. If you want to fake a scene, at least let it be or let it look a little bit, original. It just seemed fake. It screamed fake. They just wanted to talk about it so that then Marsau will go to speak to Latisha and then he will apologize for how he has been acting and then tell, oh my God, I just wanted to protect you. How did you feel about this thing?
Oh, don't get me started. It was really given, like you said, it was given like, let's just come together, let's do some damage control. And so again, my business partner, like, let's be honest, if we're being in a professional setting, I'm not about to bring my relationship to you or to discuss my marriage with you. And it's not like we've ever seen Gino on the show as one of his friends who then became his business partner. So they didn't really think it through. I think there should have been a more of a progression in their relationship that we saw on TV before they just bring this chit chat that just seemed like it came out of nowhere. And if you then think about the scene with Tisha and Marsau, it felt like they just had to put this in there just to prepare us for what was coming and then to feel like, oh, Merceau actually listens. I think in a way, Merceau is always in the comments. If he's not responding, he's probably reading those comments. And so I think in a way he's also trying to clean up his image a little bit because it was very much given damage control. Now, is it that I don't agree with a lot of the things that Gino said? I actually do agree with a lot of the things that Gino said. Especially when he talked about, like, something about if he was if this is how he treats his wife, you want to be married to him. And I was like, yep. If your business partner that probably may or may not have known you for that long is your recent business partner is saying that, then I would be like, yo, I need to watch myself. That is nuts. Right. So I do agree with a lot of the things that Gino was saying. Like, at the end of the day, you I agree with his advice that bring your if you're saying, okay, you and your wife are collaborating on the project, then you need to include her as a partner, as opposed to treating her the way you currently treat her, when it's like, oh, she's absolutely doing nothing but on paper, allegedly the owner of Scott. Because I've also heard that allegedly things aren't really looking the way it's seeming on the show, right? So in any event, I'm just like, it's clear that one thing I did like about Gino though was when he talked about he wished that he had treated his partner, like his ex-wife, more like a partner. um I felt like that showed accountability. And I think that either way, even if it's a setup scene, I'm hoping that people like Marsau can look back and watch that scene and think, okay, maybe I should be treating my partner a lot better than what I'm doing. But yeah, what do you think?
So we have someone in the live. Can you tell us what you think before I speak? She unmuted.
I think you're
Unfiltered.
on
Can
mute.
you
You're on
speak?
mute, unfiltered, Uzo. If you'd like to join us, you might have to mute your mic.
Well, then let me just say what I think. So watching it, like if it was a very genuine scene, honestly, I felt like that conversation needed to have happened 3 seasons ago, because it's almost like we're always having to have a conversation to redeem Masau's image every single time. Either it is Tisha having this conversation with someone else, or Masau is having this conversation to explain why he behaved this way, that way. So I don't know. I just think that it's fake. I understand that something can be fake and then work. But in Masau's situation, it's fake. He apologized. But to be honest, they didn't even take the apology serious. Did he take it serious? No, because I listened to him speaking to Tisha. And when he was speaking to Tisha, I did not fail to notice that he kept saying some things that were very worrying. He made this comment. He was like, "Oh, I understand that I didn't take your opinions. I've always wanted to be a provider, and because of that, it makes it seem like I really do not want. I do not take your opinions and all those kind of things." But he apologized. I noticed he never said going forward. I'm going to. He never said what he's going to do going forward. He just said, "Oh, I'm going to change," and all those things. So what exactly are you going to change? Tisha crying, and I think as women, most times, especially emotional women, they just want to get that apology, just want to get that, oh, yes, you count, yes, you matter. And then people forget about, oh, so what exactly is it going to do that is going to change? Is it going to put me back into the business? Is my opinion going to count? Am I going to have a say? If I have the majority owner with about it's 5%, so why should I not be the one talking? Why should I not be the one be talking or making the businesses? What exactly are we going to change? I think people are always scared to have these conversations because they really do not want to like approach or like confront somebody else. They do not want to confront anybody else, so they will rather take that apology over and over and over and over again. And this is why my friends are always like, oh, but you're very argumentative. It's not because I'm argumentative. I just think if you're telling me, oh, I'm sorry, I had to ask you, what are you sorry for? Because sometimes people can tell you they are sorry, I apologize, I did not mean this, oh, I'm sorry for not taking your opinions. Okay, so going forward, am I going to have a say in this business? That is where we are now having a resolution. I don't need your apology. You already did what you had to do. And the fact that it had to take a conversation with a divorced man for you to see you're wrong, that shows me that you either still do not see how big your actions are, or you need someone to always have to clean that tinted glasses for you, and that's not what I'm going to keep doing in the future. So tell me, Marcel, what exactly or what steps are you going to take that's going to reduce all this happening in the future? That's exactly what should have done. The apology was not needed. She needed to have asked him, okay, thank you for apologizing. It was necessary. My feelings were hurt. But going forward, what exactly are you going to change? How would how would all this matter in the future? Sorry, my cat is screaming at the door. But that's exactly what I felt that she should have done. What do you think?
Yeah, do you know what? I feel like she does not hold him accountable. And I think part of it is because she does not know how to hold him accountable. Bear in mind that she herself does not know how to be held accountable, and how to or accept accountability for things. So I think in a way it's a mirror. So Mercer's behavior is a mirror of who she is, in the sense that she herself does not take accountability for her actions, and so it's hard for her to hold anyone else accountable. Because the thing is, I personally think like when people do all these things where they do apologies, anyone can apologize, in my opinion. You can apologize from now till thy kingdom come. And it's like, if you're not going to change the behavior for which you're apologizing for, then nothing is going to get resolved. And the thing also is like sometimes people just throw apologies out there but don't really mean the apology. They just want to do the apology so that things can change, so that they don't have to feel the discomfort of you being upset at them. And so I think those sorts of apologies are nonsense. Like constant apologies with no change behavior, I personally think is manipulation, because all you're trying to do is control the situation, make this person or be in such a like favorable state with this person. You want things to be smooth at home. You want to be able to bury things under the rug. That sort of behavior, it's definitely manipulation. And so for me, I was not feeling the whole the whole scene. I was not feeling like what came after that. Even in his conversations with Tisha, he did not even seem genuine. And also, I don't know if you guys also picked up on the fact that she herself, she it was almost like she was trying to pretend to muster up some tears. I don't know if you picked up on that. Like she wasn't actually, it didn't seem like she was really trying to, or she felt like that was heartfelt. It felt like she had heard it before, and she's probably not going to, it's probably not going to change, and she was completely okay with it. And so in a way I think Tisha just wants to be married and stay married. And so it's like, even if I have to tolerate disrespect, as long as it's not public, if I get a public apology in private, we can go sort it out. But I think she just doesn't want a situation where she's out here looking crazy. So if he apologizes, she knows that if she questions him, tries to get to the bottom of like what really is this apology about, it will just end in back to square one. They're gonna be having fights, and then Mercer is gonna say something wild. Everyone is going to be wondering why she is wild. Well, let's see what Fabulous Manuel is saying. Let me just put that up. I don't think she's okay with it because she stays complaining even from season one. She just doesn't want to lose this marriage. I completely agree. It's one of those things where I don't think I agree with you. I don't think she's okay with it. But I think it's one of those things where she knows that if you're not okay with it, Maso is probably never going to change unless he wants to change. So she has to then decide, do I want to stay in this marriage or do I want to lose this marriage? And for her, I don't feel like she sees losing her marriage as an option. Being able to say we've been married for 17 years is a badge of honor for her. It's something that she thinks is a respect thing. Ooh, I've been married. I'm the one you should come to for relationship advice. When obviously I'm never gonna come to you for any sort of relationship advice. You need to get it together, you know? And so, but I think it's a badge of honor that she will continue to play that dutiful wife who will tolerate everything. But yeah, that's what I think.
And yeah, and the fact is, you actually hit it on the head because as the older generation, they pride themselves in being married for so long, and that's why they keep saying, "Oh, this is our generation." They keep getting divorced. We don't really want to work the relationship, but the thing is that right now, women no longer want to take the bullshit. Women no longer want to be the one saying, "Oh, I'm going to sacrifice this for the greater of my marriage. I'm going to be quiet because I do not want my man to leave me." Now women are prepared to leave. But she has so much said the, "Oh, I've been married for 17 years. I'm the oldest. My marriage is the longest, the oldest. We made it." And when you've repeated this several times, you're like, "So what do I get to lose? I'm going to stay there. I'm going to be oppressed. I'm going to keep quiet because Marsau obviously cannot take a lady that challenges him." And that's one thing we know. Marsau cannot marry someone like Kimmi. Marsau obviously cannot marry someone like Melody because they are opinionated. And that's why I'm actually very shocked at Kimmi taking some of the things that Maurice does. Like when they brought up the whole sex talk, Maurice wanted to have 3 times sex while she was battling cancer. I was very confused. I'm like, damn, at this point, your penis is still standing. Your wife is legit fighting life or life altering and she's between life and death, and all you're thinking about is your libido. I want to have sex, I want to do this. So I was very confused because the way she always tries to protect Marsau, I'm like, for a lady as opinionated, as outspoken as I was, I'm concerned. So I don't know, because Kimmi always is ready to speak back at Marsau, but for her to speak back to Maurice is like a whole nother thing. It's a whole nother thing to me. It's a whole nother thing. I'm actually shocked that these ladies are willing to keep quiet, and that's why these men keep doing whatever they are doing because they know that these ladies are going to keep quiet.
Yeah, I agree. Do you know what? Actually, you made a really good point. Kimmi is actually very similar to Tisha. I know people don't see it, but in the sense that she also wants to keep that marriage at all cost. And so I don't think she's intentionally not pushing back on TV for us to see. Because I think she knows that if she pushes back, Maurice will reveal himself and everyone will be like, yo, what? And then the focus would then be on Maurice's and Kimmi's marriage. I don't think she wants that level of focus on her marriage because every time I notice, it's very much given diversion. It's like deflecting is the actual word. When it's like, oh, instead of you guys are together, how many times have we seen them interact and they're talking about themselves? Instead, it's like, oh, let's talk about Melody came. Like it's almost like everything is a deflection from what is going on between them. And I just feel she is going to do the same thing that Tisha is doing. The difference is she does not want to make the mistakes that Tisha is making, bringing certain things on the show at all. Because she doesn't want us to then view her as, oh, this woman who is putting up with this nonsense, in my opinion. Let's see. I think someone said, yes, it's there too. Kimmi is willing to do it to stay, and I don't really blame her. Yeah, that's interesting. And Sahara also said she also deflected when they spoke about his infidelity. That is such a good point. That is such a good point. It's like every time anything about the infidelity is mentioned, it's like she just does like a 180, like, ooh, let's get out of here. Like she swerves. It's like you're swerving lanes, man. She's like, we ain't gonna talk about this.
I think that conversation quickly. You will never catch her speaking about it.
Yep.
I think, yeah, and most of the time they think it's them protecting their marriage, them protecting their image. So they don't want to talk about all those kind of things because it's rumor. But we heard there is no fire without smoke. So it's like they know,
Yep.
but they would rather they focus on Martell. But at this point, Martell is no longer married to Melody. So whatever infidelity that was going on there, it's already still news. That's why everybody got tired of the whole Martell Melody situation. And now we wanted them to bring something. And then we have Stormi Kiki fighting over there.
Mm, yeah.
For me, I don't think the apology was necessarily genuine. I think he wanted to apologize to show people that, oh, I can apologize, I can bring myself down, I can make my wife look good. Not necessarily like he really cared. It didn't
Yeah.
come off genuine to me because I need his actions to show. Because the next day, why aren't you still talking about your wife coming back to take her office? Why aren't you talking about her getting an office space in the building? Because the next scene we got was okay. The scene, the, I don't know why my cat is crying like this. I'm coming.
Oh,
Let me take it
you know
out.
what? The cat actually sounds like a baby. Bless. But yeah, no, I'm completely with you. It just did not seem genuine at all. It was almost like, okay, someone has put me up to the fact that I have to apologize, so I may just come out here and apologize and act like everything is all good when I know deep down it ain't that good, basically. So I was not here for that. Now, guys, did you guys actually catch the fact that they had this mug? I think the mug was like my life, my blueprint. Did you guys see it? Let me know in the chat. I saw it and I was like, that mug is not cute. Like, I don't know what that was about, but it ain't cute at all. Like, I don't know if you guys picked up on it. I was just like, okay. So, one thing I'm noticing is that they are now starting to try and plug their products a lot more or any sort of merch. It's like they're trying to now become more business savvy. And I'm like, okay, I appreciate, you're trying to be more business savvy and stuff, but like at least try and get that try and get your ish together when it comes to that. That's what I think anyway. But yeah, let me know if you guys saw that mug because when I saw that mug, I was just like, seriously, that mug is not cute. Like, we need to find something better than this. Like, this just ain't it. But yeah, like, let's move on.
Yeah, we spent so much time here.
Yeah, let's.
So I actually liked the little meeting between Melody, Tisha, and Kimmi. It was actually a breath of fresh air because I was tired of them fighting over and over and over. So it was really, really nice for them to come together, have a meeting, try to navigate where they were coming from. But let's go because I actually felt like this thing was also produced. That's
Mhm.
just me. There
No,
was
I
so much. Why is this thing still crying?
maybe
Don't
she
tell
wants
me
attention.
honest.
Yeah, I'll just go ahead. So one thing that I noticed about this scene, I actually do agree that it seems very manufactured, and it just seems like we're gonna brush everything that so everything that Tisha has said about Melody up until this point is like, okay, let's brush everything under the rug. Let's sweep it under the rug. And now let's talk about doing things together. And I'm just like, it honestly, to me, it did not seem genuine at all. It just seemed like everyone was just trying to save face and everyone was just like, okay, we have to keep it light this season So let's all kiki and get together. I think for me, I completely agree when Melody was like, the respect thing is something that was missing, because the way it was like there was no respect. Like, even if you're feuding with your friends, that doesn't mean that there should be disrespectful things on the internet, you co-signing, you saying disrespectful things, or like you saying people have dark souls, those sorts of things. Like, those things are extreme. And in reality, in most people's reality, it's not something most people can come back from. Like, it is not, it just isn't something that most people can come back from. But I did appreciate the fact that, like, for instance, when Melody went to join them, she had good energy. She hugged Tisha. I was like, okay, that was a nice hug. It wasn't really like a, I don't want to see you hug. But yeah, it was very much given. No, you're right. Fabulous. It was definitely given production vibe. It's like they railroaded them to be like, you have to do this. You will have to kick you. And I'm like, whilst we appreciate them trying to keep it light this season, I think that they need to keep it light with some sense. Like, how about we have a conversation where we clear the air first before we then have this meeting? Because it just seemed like
Honest,
they hadn't
I
cleared the
don't
air.
think they've gotten to their level.
Mm. Say that again.
I don't think they have gotten to the level where they will have a calm conversation. There's like too much hatred everywhere.
Mm. Yeah. But then, don't you think that that scene then was just giving fakery then?
It was fake. It was fake. It was fake. Almost the entire episode was fake. The only like real scene to me was the last scene where Tisha and Marsau then met them for the meeting.
That was my favorite still.
I think we should just go to it because that's what I really want to talk about. Because
Mm.
so much went on in that particular scene that I had to side eye a lot of people. So did you notice that when Melody came in, avoided talking to Martell, he was pissed. His face, I took this screenshot at the same time he looked at her. He was this was the exact time she came in, avoided speaking to him, even though he greeted her, and then she just went to hug Kimmi. She also did not really talk or tap Maurice because she knows that Maurice doesn't like her. So I
Exactly.
took it. He kept saying hello, hello. She did not respond. I laughed at that point because that was very, very ridiculous. He just wanted to get her to be like, hey, Martell, hi. And then when they started talking about the whole deal with Tisha and Marsau, I don't get it. These people are legit um entrepreneurs. They work, they have kids to feed. I just do not. Kimmi and Melody were asking the right questions. I don't get why I should have to work for free. We are living in a capitalistic country where things are this price of things are skyrocketing. Then you want me to come and speak. And you know what I found very funny? They got $100,000 grant. So where exactly is this grant going to? If you do not want to pay people after getting 100,000, no, it just doesn't make any sense. Just proves to me that they really want to use the money for themselves. Nobody is really paying. So the only thing you will basically be paying for is either the venue, yeah, just the venue and decorations. Apart from that, the rest of the 100K will go to you. Then you want people to come there and work for free. How does that make sense?
Yeah, that's given like forced labor, man. It's mad. I just feel like, seriously, why why is it such an issue for someone to ask if there's a budget? If anyone reached out to me, invited me to something, if you do not lead with the fact that, oh, this is a charitable cause, we are doing this for charity, I would like for you to be on board, and that would be your participation, in terms of charity. So, as it is charity, we have no budget for this. That's how you should lead the conversation if that is what your intention is. However, if you're saying you want to do a business expo, right? Like you're saying, okay, you want to do business expo, like Tisha calls it, then
Yeah.
make it make sense that you are getting these people who would be promoting these events, right? Showing up to these events, taking time out of their schedule to speak at your event when they could be speaking at other events where they're getting paid for. If they know that it is a charitable cause, then they can say, okay, maybe what I can do is this. But you do not lead with that at all. Now, the other thing that really bothered me, and I don't know if it's like the the part of me that is like presentations, that's just not a way to do a presentation. Did you notice how Tisha was reading from the slides? Did
Ooh,
you?
she has always had speech problems, but it was very pronounced this episode.
The thing is, I don't even like people have speech problems. It is what it is, right? My point is, it did not even seem rehearsed. So let's say, for instance, you're presenting at an event. You at least read the slides beforehand and also make it make sense. Why is there like long paragraphs in the on the sheet and then you're just reading from it? Like she would have better been better off just speaking, standing in front and just saying, "This is what we're trying to do. This is what we're trying to do. Is there a way you can help us achieve this?" Simple. There was no need for that presentation that was so lackluster. There was no need for the slides that did not even really look like slides. There was no need for also when you're giving a presentation, why are you backing the audience in that way? Like you're not interacting with the audience. You're not, at least Marsau still had a better stance when he was presenting. I don't know if it's just the presenter in me, but that's how I feel about that. It really bothered me. And I thought, also, how are you 45 minutes late to an event that you called, a meeting that you called? You ask these people to come and give you their time so you can talk about an initiative that you're interested in, doing, right? So you should have been there on time. So for you to be 40 something minutes late, no apology, at least none that production wanted us to see to begin with. So from the start, it was already doomed because if I were Kimmi or Melody or anyone else in the room, and you ask for my time and I'm there waiting for you for 40 minutes, no apology. Even with your apology, I'm still going to be like, you're not a professional, right? And then you come and you're reading the slides and you don't have any sense of direction. I would be like, I wasted my time. And there's no way on earth I'll be giving you another free session by showing up to your event to come and waste my time further. It just doesn't make any sense to me. But yeah, that's how I feel about that. But yeah, what did you think? I'm not sure if you're still there. But yeah, let me just share some of the comments whilst we're waiting for you to join. Yes, no, fabulous. You're completely right. That is literally them being cheap. How can you get a grant? I didn't even know they had a grant. This is me just hearing about that on this channel today. I didn't even know there was a grant at all.
There was a grant because I heard Kimmi say it. Kimmi was like, "Oh, but you got 100K grant, so what are you using it for?" That particular
Ooh,
comment was just like washed to the side.
I missed it. Wow. Interesting. So I heard when she talked about like the grant, but I just thought she was saying like sort of hypothetically, like if they had gotten a grant.
No,
I didn't know it was like, yo, they actually got a grant. Then that's actually wickedness. Because you have a grant, you have the ability to pay these people, and you are choosing not to pay them. That's even worse. Like if let's even assume like you're struggling, you don't have the money, and that's what that's about, then I'll feel a little bit better. But like it was giving like you have the money but you don't want to pay these people. Nah,
it's
that
the
was
way he was even speaking about it that got me confused. If someone was speaking to me that way, there's no way on earth you are going to like. You saw the way Melody checked out. Even I was checked out from that conversation. It was rude on so many ways.
yeah, 100%. And you're right. Actually, Fabulous just mentioned something that I don't think we've mentioned yet. It's the way Maso actually sounded offended that they wanted to be paid. Now that is a level of madness I don't think I've ever seen in my life, where you're upset because someone is trying to find out what the budget is and trying to find out whether or not they're getting paid. Um, like this is your time. This is their time. If you want them to speak at your event, you should be like, we really need you. There's a way you pitch it, right? There are things that people would pitch to you, and then you feel like, okay, I love the vision. I want to support. How can I support, right? And then you say, okay, you can support by doing this, 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 if you're able to, as opposed to, we need you all to be speakers, and then all you got to do is show up and also promote the event. Like, it's like you're getting everything for free. And yes, Sahara, completely agree. Everything was trash from the start.
Yeah, they actually wanted to gain everything from free, because when Melody was like, okay, you want us to speak and then promote for free. Melody was actually down with speaking for free. Then when she was like, okay, how much do you pay for promotion? And they're like, oh, it's free too. Oh, at that point, she was like, damn, these people really want to use us. They
Mm,
really wanted to use them. And it's the way they were speaking. It's for me, I have to hand it to them. The way they were speaking confidently about it,
yeah,
it was just crazy.
100%.
It
They had
was
they gave no F's basically. They were like,
nah.
we ain't paying. Like when Mercer was like, we ain't paying. Like I was like, okay.
All
And
the
then
audacity.
the audacity. That's what I'm saying. Like one thing these people have is audacity. And one thing I want to say is I actually appreciated Kimmy stepping in, because if not, it would have seemed like Melody was just
Was
trying
being,
uh-huh,
yeah.
was just trying to be difficult. And that's the thing, right? Because I don't know if you know, because I know you've been away for like a month, but like a lot of comments, and people are feeling like, oh, Melody is being too difficult, and it's almost like they're giving everyone else a pass, but they're not giving her any grace. And so like it comes across like if Kimmy did not speak up, I bet people would be lighting Melody's ass up.
That's why I don't know. I just cut up the entire episode this today. I realized that she has not been speaking much. She has not been doing anything in the entire season. So
Mm.
I guess people want her to cause drama or something, but I really don't get it. She's not responding to anybody. So where exactly is the problem coming from then?
Yes, like now people are like, oh, she thinks she's better than everyone else. She does not want to interact with them. Like, oh, like it's like,
Please.
where do you guys get this from? Like, I read a chat today, and it was like, the chat was like lighting Melody's ass on fire, and I was like, are we watching the same thing?
Because
Like,
for real, she's barely in the episode. So I really don't get
yeah.
it.
I was like, this girl came with her little cornrows looking like Mariah. Like, I was like, she was like good vibes, smiley, huggy. She even brought some snacks. Like, what is the problem? But yeah, mm, yeah, that's a no for me. But
Yeah,
yeah,
I'm actually only looking forward to next week episode. I want to see what those pick me women are going to say, because some people have already started. So
yes, and they definitely will probably come. Like I hope Melody is ready, and
like,
like because they will come for her. Like recently, I stumbled on a live. I'm not gonna say who it was, but the way a lot of these women were in the live video coming for Mel, I was like, okay, like this is, and it wasn't
I
even
s-
like
I
yes.
stumbled upon one yesterday. I had to ask the lady, "Where are you getting all this information from? It's not even correct."
Mm, yeah. In a way,
It's
sometimes I'm like,
she
yeah,
said, she was like, I had to ask her, if Mattel is such a great man, why is he asking for Sugar Mama's money? And do you know what she responded? She
yeah.
said, Mattel is doing that because he has to protect Sugar Mama's money. I was like, damn,
Mhm. He's
yeah.
the one that allegedly don't got money. So like, what was he protecting the money from?
I was like, At that point, I didn't even say anything anymore because I'm like, I'm arguing with someone that is not even being honest. So there's like no need.
Yeah, like it was very much like a lot of people were really coming for her and like just saying really like crazy things. And I was just like, even if like there was even one where it was like people were trivializing the whole alleged stalking allegations and like,
And it's
Matilda's
always black
behavior.
women.
It is. And some were even saying like, oh, they were not like stuff like Mattel isn't abusive. I'm like, okay, so if people have to try and pull you away from your ex-wife, that's not abuse? That's not being abusive? No? Okay. Okay, cool. You getting in her face is not abusive? Okay. And then, they had the audacity, these black women had the audacity to say, oh, if there all these things were happening, why didn't she go and file a police report? Why didn't she go to the police? I was like, are you serious? Don't you know that a lot of people that get abused don't really go to the police? Are you serious? Like I've never been so shocked in my life that people are coming on to boldly say these things. I was like, wow, you guys have no empathy. Like it's insane. But yeah. Mm,
Telling you.
yeah.
Anyways, it was really fun. I can see that Melody is even live. Let me go out and catch her live and see what she's saying there.
Yeah, let me go see what's up, what's going on that side.
We'll have a conversation later, probably after the live.
Yeah, no worries. We can have a chat about it, and maybe we can do something, I don't know, tomorrow or something.
Yeah. All
Mm.
right. See you
All right,
guys.
no worries. Thank you all, especially those of you who have been in the chat. Thank you guys for your time. Yeah.
All right. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.